It's Mike, Dan, and Nick. And Dan is still he won't rest because he's doing some Discord issue.
Yep.
And yeah, he's gonna get that. Nick, we normally have a session with Dan on algorithm stuff on Sundays, 2 hours earlier than this. So like that was 2 hours ago, and I think we stopped like half an hour ago for us to take a break. So before we join this one, so maybe just FYI. So I think I will share my screen so I can see the issues that we could be going to work on. Share screen.
Yeah, same here.
Now I know my ABCs. Now I know my ABCs. Virtual Venture, Symphony.
Let's see.
Yeah, we have lots and lots of issues. I remember last week we were going through with Dan. We were trying to bump that. What were we trying to do? We were trying to test something. I remember you sent me a link and I didn't. Oh.
Right.
Yeah, so it's done. Right here, you sent me something, or was it in the channel?
It might have been. I might have put it in the chat. I don't know.
So oh yeah, couldn't commit the failing test for some reason. It is if you want to work on it this week. And then you added it to a gist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't touch it. So maybe
All right.
Yeah, and Peter during the week had been doing some pull requests, and this is the latest one. I haven't looked at it, and it's failing a test, so maybe. Yeah, I see he's more or less completed the thing.
Nice.
So yeah, he added this carousel and this, and then he added the tickets, and he also added the contact us page down here and see who is attending. Yeah, all the stuff that we discussed. And yeah, so this is actually failing a test. Details.
Oh, I think he's. Is he on right now? It looks like Travis is going through a test right now.
Oh, nope. I just restarted it. Okay. I think it's going to fail. So, yeah, I think it's... I just... What I did was to merge something. So, I think that's the reason the tests were running again.
Okay.
Yeah. So, maybe... yeah, and maybe you can drive on that issue.
Maybe I can.
I don't know. I don't know where we are stuck. I can't remember. So maybe if we can get to know where we were stuck and see if we could. Did you look through it this week?
No.
Yeah, I think so. I see it in your face.
Yeah, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I should have been looking at it while I was doing it. Instead, I kept working on this leak code thing during our break, but I should have been looking at this.
Uh,
Let's see. So
so uh,
I think I was trying to create a store with an initial state where is signed in equals false, or
yeah, I
because
remember.
it's null, and then by the default, the reducer default. Where was it? In the authentication reducer, the default, the initial state is signed in null, and then that causes um,
It to
let's
fail
see.
before.
Yeah, why does it fail? Um,
So
oh,
the
right. It can't find the button because we did it like the Stephen Grider course where the button doesn't uh, isn't rendered at all, like until it is signed in as false or true.
ah,
So this
I don't know
find
if I, I don't know if it's the same kind of test that I wrote yesterday. If you can see in, I'm still trying to get the grasp around this, but in Peter's PR that I merged yesterday, where is it? This is gist. I want GitHub. Yeah. So pull requests closed. Yeah, but I remember this is a little bit more complicated. So if you can open this PR.
I can't see your screen. Oh, okay,
I just shared it.
got it.
I think Nick sort of dropped off. I just added him back to the show. So if you look at the files changed, yeah, I think this one is stupid. It's not the same thing. So just down, yeah, there.
Doesn't render if render buttons are false. Okay.
So I just created a props and had render buttons at first.
Yes.
Yeah, so the complexity we are having is that our state is being managed by Redux right now.
Uh-huh.
So we need it to come with a false, a state of false, because in this one there's no redux involved.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No.
Huh. Okay.
I need to send something.
Yeah, but so maybe. So what can we do here since Redux is involved? I was thinking we need to hydrate the state with like is signed in to be false or true so that the button shows up, and then we can do this. Or what we could do is before we would have to like call an action to change that to false before the test. But then that's kind of like testing the, I don't know, testing more than we want to test, I guess, with this.
Hmm. So what do we want to test with this? Is that when
So whenever we click on sign in, that I just want to test that auth.signin is called, like if you look at the component,
yeah.
we're trying to test this line. Our coverage says we need to cover these two,
Yes.
like basically these two lines. So I was just gonna test this. When it clicks the button, this .auth.signin is called.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So and then and then our issue was that on the first instance the button is not rendered. So we
yeah,
need our
so
um we need our how do we call it? We need our state to be set to either false or true.
yep. So I think I started modifying this. So I put in an initial state variable, and then
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well,
But why are we
it's
not setting the initial state in the reducer?
because then we'd basically be changing the behavior of the reducer. So here's the authentication reducer. If we set this to false, then
Yeah.
so it's no longer null, which is good for our test, but it's it's not good for when the actual page is loading up. Um, so let's say that some user has a logged in session
Mm.
and they go to the root in they just open up a new window, they're gonna
Yeah.
see sign in, a button sign in for like if the page loads slowly, they'll see sign in for a short while and then they'll see sign out. And that's considered like that's why we did it this other way, so that you basically for that period of time you don't see the button and then it shows sign out instead of the button switching from sign in to sign out, which is kind of like confusing for the user. I don't know. Not the
Yeah,
best.
I remember you told me this. Yeah, I remember you said the same thing last week.
Yeah, that's just from the Stephen Grider course, and that's we kind of like. I think that's where we got that implementation, the idea from.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I think I found
But
something
then, yeah, go ahead.
in uh, the Redux docs. So you
Yeah,
create store can come with this preloaded state.
yeah.
Uh, and we can use that to pass in basically a preloaded state to the store when we create it. So but the weird thing about this reference is like here in our original code, we didn't have this. Uh, we had create. We called create store with just root reducer and applied middleware thunk.
Yeah, I've sent something. Yeah, go ahead.
So this argument doesn't seem to match up with what the documentation is showing, where you have a reducer state
That's the
and
enhancer.
then an enhancer, but and there's nothing about a. Oh, that's an enhancer, right? That's the applied middleware is an enhancer. I think.
I don't know. Can you check the Stack Overflow link I've shared on the chat?
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not sure.
Using mock store.
Yeah, I don't know if this is what you're trying to do.
mock store returns an instance of configured mock store. It doesn't change the state through action. That's fine. It just records actions that were passed.
Mm-hmm.
You can simulate a state change.
So what they are passing there is a function that returns state when they are creating store.
Store equals mock store. A function that returns the state, okay, that they, whatever they set it to. Huh. Cool.
Yeah, and then you can just go ahead and dispatch whatever action you want to. Or maybe that's what we should be doing. We should be dispatching an action with the correct state, with the correct I think the second answer even makes it easier for me. I don't know if it's the second one.
Second one, use a real store in your test. First, create a reducer function.
So that's just the normal reducer.
And
I don't
create
know
a
if
store.
this is what you are trying to do with the create store.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it's saying just create a separate reducer. That makes sense.
Create a separate reducer.
Or I guess so. Here it says first create a reducer function. Um,
And so we'll be testing a reducer that's different from the reducer that we have.
yeah.
And how will that help with regression?
Um, let's see. Well, because we're not testing the reducer, so it doesn't really matter if the reducer is not the same. All we're testing is the. Well, hold on. No, we are testing the reducer.
Yeah, we are testing the reducer
We're doing.
because when it comes and someone clicks that button, a dispatch is going to be called.
No, this dot offset sign in is going to be called.
And that will call the sign in action.
Yeah, unless we muck it and then just check that it got called once, which is that's what I was gonna do. I was just gonna mock this dot sign in,
Yeah.
so it won't call the reducer like this. The actual this dot sign in won't actually be called.
Uh,
So we got this sign in equals just.fn mock function, and then down here I'm thinking that it got called one. Hmm. Does that make sense, or do you think?
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's it sounds hacky. It sounds so hacky.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we want to be doing unit tests to test this, or are we doing integration tests, really? That's the issue. It's like if we want to do a unit test, then yeah, we should use that mock store. And if we want to do an integration test, we should use the real store, and we should use like maybe we shouldn't even mock this. Maybe we shouldn't even mock this sign in and just let it
do this thing.
and then check that it actually uh, like check the state after that button click to make sure
But
that
no,
it's signed
but
is true.
the sign in function is calling an external API.
Sign in. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can mock that API. Hold on. Let me see. This dot auth dot sign in. Yeah. So that should be mocked,
Yeah.
but and then we would have to. Yeah, that's true. So it's calling an external API, and then uh, like here we have it's listening for any auth change, or I don't know.
So you're saying if we are doing a unit test, we should mock the store, use mock store.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it should either be a unit test or an integration test, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You should read this one. You should read this one.
All right, your turn to drive.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sharing in the chat. Or
Yeah,
maybe I just share my screen. It's easier, maybe.
yeah.
So, yeah, I was just reading around. So this guy is asking how to update the store for the mock store, and then this guy tells him there's no way to update mock store state because Usually it's not needed. You
Right.
can just create a new store instance of mock store if you need to change the state.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it's basically saying in the first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it says mock store returns an instance of the configured mock store. It doesn't change the state through action.
Yeah.
You can simulate a state change. Mock store accepts a function, so you can do the following.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll read these ones. So, what direction do we take here?
I don't know.
We go the Moxter way and unit test it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't really understand this, so
So, I think he's just doing a configure Moxter with middlewares and then create the state. And then when creating the store, he passes a function that
yeah.
returns state. I think that's it. So then in your test, state equals new state. Where does new state come from?
I don't know.
Store.dispatch type any action.
Now you need to make the components update the state, so you can dispatch any action, so the mock store will notify the subscribers. Huh.
No.
I think I copied too much.
Yeah. I don't know if we needed thunk as a middleware. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we are accessing the API.
Oops.
You mind doing live share?
Sure.
Yeah, there's this muted thing when I mute on the screen.
There's a muted.
Like you can see my
Like,
screen?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I shall share it. Now read property sign in of undefined.
So in our case, so you create the state to be called authentication.
Do what?
On line 12,
Yeah.
the state is called authentication, and it's sending false. Now it's auth that is being undefined.
Yeah. It's because it's this dot auth. So should be bound to the Google Auth.
Okay.
So yeah, how do we do that?
So const auth equals that.
I think that on this load, we need to, it can't just be an empty mock function. It's got to basically do, it's got to add the sign in to the auth. I mean, it's got to bind this auth object to the Google Auth. Like, so here in the Google Auth component, we have um, the load, and when load runs, it says this dot auth equals this. So how do we do that?
I like how you always just go to the official documentation
Uh,
because it's got everything.
yeah, sometimes it's hard to find. So it depends. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. So we don't want to add a return value. We just want to add a side effect, kind of. Um, mock return values. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I think this gets called whenever.
Mock callback. So what is done doing?
I don't know.
So window.gapi equals
What did I just do?
So that function will return this dot auth. And why do you have an equal sign? Does it make sense? Oh,
This
yeah.
dot on.
Achoo. Achoo.
I think I'm missing a.
Then you want to do with that. Uh,
Cannot set property
maybe
auto.
you want to do window.gpi dot load.
Window.gapi dot load
Dot auth.
dot load dot auth.
I don't know.
So here we're defining window.gapi, or we're to just be an object with a load property with this just function as the value, the mod function. It says this is undefined, global this. Right. I don't know. I don't think this is good.
Yeah.
It's no good.
The signing function that we are expecting to be called is from the API, you know.
Yep.
But didn't we have our own sign-in function?
Yes, but that's a different. So that's basically the one that we're testing. Uh,
On sign-in click.
oh, we're testing on sign and click. Well, there is a sign. There is our own sign. This dot prop slash sign in. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's already been tested. So we want to check that this auth sign-in has been called. Wow.
Hmm.
Every time I search for hmm, every time I search for unit testing the Google authentication with React, I get this library, React Google login.
The what?
There's a library called React Google login. Let me just share my screen.
Uh, huh.
This. So every time I've been searching for unit testing the React Google login, this is what I get.
OAuth sign in login component for React.
Uh, yeah, and they have all these props, client ID. I think it will also have the send in thing,
Yeah.
and it defaults to false.
Huh. Probably make it easier to test
I don't
using.
know. Yeah, using a component that's already there.
Hmm.
Because you just call this component. Yeah. Let me see. Extend reactive component. Hmm. So what this .auth does is to bind the auth attribute to the class Google Auth, no?
Uh, that's what this dot load does, right? The GAPI dot load. It binds the auth.
Hmm.
I don't know. It binds this function to auth of the Google auth
The
objects.
GPA.load.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take off soon too. I'm going to have plans in about half an hour. I'll have to be somewhere. So
Okay. Yeah, maybe you can just push it as is, and then we'll. Yeah, I may reach out to Joseph or someone.
okay.
Yeah, because I think the issue now is binding the, like, getting to call this .auth from the test, and then if you're able to do that, we can mock the functions that come with this .auth.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, maybe I can try reach out to Joseph if he's available, or maybe Federico or someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So you'll be. I'll try solving the lead code thing, and then I'll let you know how it goes with the um, modulo and the flow function.
Okay. I thought you had already.
Yeah.
Didn't you already have a solution for that?
Yeah, I already did, but I just want to do a different. I just want to see like the thought process that you had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just want to try it.
Yeah.
Like the other one also, I want to. I want to try the other one with multiplying by 10. You remember that one for reversing the integer?
Yep.
Yeah, where they will pick the value in the ones column and then multiply by 10, and then keep that in the reverse and keep adding, keep adding. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. All right. I think I'll see you next week then.
All right. See you then.
Yeah. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.